It is my hope that you're doing fine wherever you are. I'm okay. Welcome to another episode of Raw Politics. As I told you on this channel, the decision not to fire Sifuna from ODM is a form of punishment. I said that somebody with the ego of Sifuna being made to recant or to eat his own words is a serious form of punishment. And that is what ODM, in my opinion, chose to do when it comes to handling Edwin Sifuna. In previous scenarios, when the ODM SG differed with the party, they found themselves being physically hounded out of office. You remember the case of Magarer or the case of Ababu Namwamba. It's not been easy for renegade SGs of ODM. But Sifuna has been doing this since June 2024. Sifuna has been critical of broad-based government, opposing everything that Raila proposes. And people have been like, oh, the reason as to why he's still staying there is because he speaks the mind of Raila, or is Raila's wild card and other things. I have told you on this channel more than several times that Raila Odinga, when it comes to decisions like supporting the government or not, he is not kidding. He is not the type to be in that government and at the same time use one of his soldiers to claim that they are going to walk out. I also told you that it is difficult for Raila Odinga to blackmail somebody like William Ruto. William Ruto, if you can remember, I said has one thing working for him: the ability to plan properly early enough so that when you do what you think will take him down, you already looked at the scenarios and already had a contingency. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news: Sifuna again has been made to eat his own words and state the official policy of ODM party. Now, I know there are those of you who believed and insisted that Sifuna was speaking for ODM, and it was just a matter of time that ODM was going into a meeting, and when they came out, they would read that they are not comfortable with how William Ruto has handled the 10-point agenda, and that they were considering being with William Ruto or walking out for that matter. I insisted that is not an option. ODM is working with the Kenya Kwanza into the future, unless otherwise. The likes of Sifuna are speaking for Wamunyoro, not Raila Odinga. I have even done a video, and I'll link the video in the description so that you understand why I believe Sifuna is speaking for Wamunyoro. The reason as to why he has not been fired, like I told you, has everything to do with punishing him. Now, let's try to see how ODM, especially Raila Odinga, has dealt with Sifuna. It's the most classic way of teaching your kid some valuable lessons. You see, when the so-called Gen Zs were on the street, they got some support, and Sifuna was one of them. So Sifuna was tweeting, retweeting, sharing, and saying that ODM was fully 100% behind this anarchy. Well, after doing all that, Sifuna found himself reading the statement that ODM was for dialogue. If you can remember, Sifuna, the same one who was saying there is nothing like dialogue, we are not going to sit down with somebody like Ruto. Ruto has to go. Kama sio sasa ni sasa hivi. Ruto has to go. That same Sifuna was quickly called to ODM headquarters and told to read the position of the party. And the position of the party was, we are not supporting the violence, we are not supporting the demos, we are demanding that we have a national dialogue. Sifuna had to read that. Imagine being on the street. Imagine telling people that ODM as a party, and I'm speaking in my capacity as the party SG, as Sifuna usually says. I'm speaking as the party SG, and I can tell you, and I know Raila Odinga. That is my mentor. He's the only politician I've known. And I know him. There is no way he can support William Ruto. Young men on the street, young women on the street, move forward. Let us remove this evil man. The same person being called to read a statement that says we are not supporting that, we are going this route, the opposite route. That is one instance. The second instance, even though Raila called for dialogue, he had not said they are going to work with William Ruto. And so Sifuna insisted and kept on telling people there is no way ODM is joining government. He is very outspoken, so it's not difficult to get statements from Sifuna. He was like, there's no way ODM is going to be part of this government, even though our party leaders say that we discuss our issues through dialogue. There is no way ODM is joining Kenya Kwanza. The same Sifuna was now the one giving the statement. ODM is working with Kenya Kwanza on a broad-based government. After AUC, Sifuna was moving from one TV station to the other, telling the usual audience that he entertains that he knows Raila Odinga. The AUC thing was a blackmail Ruto was using on him. That now that was water under the bridge. Raila Odinga was no longer tied to Ruto. There is no way Raila Odinga can work with a government that does what? The way Sifuna usually paints Ruto's government negatively to the chagrin of his audience. He was there, not just reading the memorandum of understanding between ODM and UDA. He was one of the signatories. After that, Sifuna has been all over criticizing government, saying, I don't recognize this thing. I'm telling you the official position of ODM. In fact, in his latest interview on Citizen with Yvonne Okwara, he said that according to him, the day Ojwang was murdered in a police cell, that was the end of their agreement or the end of that MOU with UDA. And that he had communicated this with none other than Raila Odinga. And he was not just speaking that day as Sifuna, but speaking as the ODMSG. And he said, he assured everybody who cared that these are things he had discussed with Raila Odinga. Well, they went to Kakamega. Raila Odinga said everybody has the right to share their views. But what I want you to understand is that ODM official position is always given by you, yes, but after consensus, after the institutions of the party meet. And of course, our media picked it and said, Raila said, Sifuna is my mouthpiece, Sifuna speaks for me. And within a short time, the supporters of Rigathi were all over saying how ODM is walking out anytime soon from broad-based government, that Ruto was done. I did a video here, ladies and gentlemen, and told you that is not going to happen. That ODM does not work at the whims of Edwin Sifuna. That Edwin Sifuna was allowed to do everything that he wants to do only for him to be humiliated later. And that is what happened today. The officials of the party met, and Sifuna was told to read the official position of ODM. And guess what the official position of ODM was? It had nothing to do with the things that Sifuna was uttering. According to Sifuna, there was no longer relationship between Kenya Kwanza and ODM. That ODM was done with Kenya Kwanza. He didn't even care about the review of their memorandum of understanding. But that is not the case. That is not what he read. Sifuna read that it is the official position of the party that ODM supports broad-based government and President Ruto's government. Yes, Sifuna had to read that. Imagine the humiliation after you've spoken with authority, with conviction, telling people this is the position of the party. I am not speaking my own mind. I have discussed this with Raila. Then you are given the official position to read when the same Raila is behind you. And the same organs of the party that you say that you represent are there behind you. And they say, read, this is our position. So Sifuna has eaten a humble pie again. He has been humiliated. And this is why I insist, if I was Sifuna, I would have taken a very different path altogether. Because I know the worry Sifuna has is that the arrangement between ODM and UDA might not favor him. And by favor him, I told you that Sifuna in 2022 went to vie in Kandui, in Bungoma, and he failed in the nominations of ODM. And the fact that he was given the ticket for Nairobi Senate is a kind of an affirmative action. We have a Secretary General who is not popular enough in his backyard. Let us give him something so that he doesn't just sit in the office. And he's feeling like this is not going to repeat itself if there is an arrangement between UDA and ODM. They may not give Sifuna another chance, another direct ticket. I personally understand his grievances and the reason as to why he has to make noise. But if I was him, I would have gone the other route altogether. What I would have done, because Sifuna and the likes are people whose political relevance depend entirely on being on the side of Raila Odinga, I would have done exactly what I have been doing. Be loyal to Raila Odinga. If he's saying that he supports broad-based government, I would be speaking about broad-based government better than Junet, louder than Joho, and even stronger than Oparanyas of this world. I would be the face of broad-based government support from ODM. And that way, I won't be expendable. When people sit at the table, they will be like, this is a very a good champion of the broad-based government. Let us just give him a chance to retain his seat. Chances are that Raila would have said, in my negotiations with Ruto, Sifuna goes back. Okay, we give you Sakaja, but Sifuna goes back. That way, he would have survived. But now that he decided to confront and annoy the powers that be within ODM, when you see the likes of Oburu Odinga speaking against you, these are people who have serious access to Raila Odinga. And I can tell you, Junet is closer to Raila Odinga than Sifuna. And when you see Junet speaking, know very well that he is speaking the mind of Raila Odinga. When you see Opiyo Wandayi speaking, those are Raila Odinga's innermost people. And of course, now when you hear Oburu's statement, you are hearing directly from Raila Odinga. So when Sifuna comes and tells you that he's now speaking for Raila Odinga, and yet these people are all criticizing him and saying he should go, okay, then he had beaten more than he can chew. So for now, they're still humiliating it. But I can't rule out a case where ODM just does away with Sifuna altogether. And if they do, I want to tell you on this channel also that if they remove him from ODM Secretary General, Sifuna's political relevance will die. Because Sifuna is who he is because of Raila Odinga. That is why when even when he's on those media houses, whenever he speaks, he's like, I'm speaking after consulting my mentor. Without Raila Odinga, Sifuna does not have support. Now, there are people who are saying that if Sifuna goes, then the lawyers in ODM would go. Sifuna's hometown is a Ford Kenya zone. Yes, Sifuna doesn't come from an ODM zone. He is MP, he is MCA. Those are members of Ford Kenya. And Sifuna doesn't have influence in Kakamega or Busia. He is not Oparanya. Oparanya has serious influence in Kakamega. So it's not Wetangula that if you got rid of, you are losing Bungoma. There is nothing that is going to happen in Western because of Sifuna. He's not influential there. He tried to vie there and he could not even win an ODM ticket there. So those are just imaginations. There is nothing like lawyers are going if Sifuna goes. There is nothing like that. Lawyers will still be with Raila Odinga. The ones that are with Wetangula will be with him. That is how it is. So my opinion would have been he should have just been humble and do what he usually does, sing Raila's praises and support the broad-based government. But then he chose otherwise, and the consequences are what he goes through now. Now he has to recant his statements. Now he's made to look like a serious fool. You make noise castigating broad-based government, then you are told, read the official position. You make noise saying there is no way Raila can work with William Ruto, then you are told, sign the memorandum of understanding as the SG. You are like telling people the memorandum of understanding is dead. There is no longer association with William Ruto in whatever form, as far as I'm concerned, as the secretary. Then you are told, read the official position. And then you say, the official position of the party is that we support Raila Odinga's decision to work with Ruto and Kenya Kwanza. Even the next time you go to rant on media, people just know that whatever you say doesn't hold water, that you are overruled. You're just being allowed to embarrass yourself, that is. Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to tell you that Sifuna has been humbled again. And even if he went to the media to excuse himself, they will arrange for him some cleansing session, maybe on Citizen or another anti-Ruto TV, so that he can go there and say, you know, we didn't say this, we didn't agree with this is this. All these things he will do until one day maybe they will remove him from the party. And then that would be the end of Sifuna, politically speaking, because he doesn't have a base of his own. Sifuna doesn't have a base outside Raila Odinga. If you agree with me, let me know in the comment section below. If you have a different opinion, if you feel that Sifuna is still speaking the ODM position and ODM will leave William Ruto very soon, also share in the comment section. Let us engage. Now, don't forget to like this video and share it with friends. And in case you want to know what Sifuna's real agenda in ODM is, watch this video.